जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotee. So today is Friday. It is 29th of August. It is Bhadra Masa, Rishikesha Masa, Sukla Paksham, Sashti Tithi. There are no Vaishnava events in the calendar. So we should move into our daily Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Maitreya Muni speaking to Vidura about the creation, the main ingredients and main, that is Panchbhutas, and also senses, sense perceptions, and the Karnendriyas. So they all got generated, and also the mind, and along with the mind, and also demigods also got generated from the mode of goodness. Demigods and mind are coming from mode of goodness. Demigods in the sense like controlling deities of of the universal affairs. All demigods are also generated from mode of goodness. And from mode of passion, all the indriyas, jnana indriyas, karna indriyas got generated. And from the mode of ignorance, sound got generated. From the sound, all the tanmatras and also panchbhutas. So there are 10 elements generated from the mode of ignorance. 10 elements got generated from mode of passion. And from the mind, from the goodness, mind and all the demigods got generated. So after saying that one, he has described like all these elements, one after another, will gradually, until the earth is manifested fully, that kind of transformations took place. Everything by the Amsha Yogena, Kala Maya, Amsha Yogena, so and Bhagavad Vikshitam. So by the glance of the Lord, and also with mixture of Maya and also the time influence. So these are the main things. Because of those things, transformations taking place. Okay, so after saying that, Maitreya Muni saying that all these are happening, all these transformations are happening just because of the, at the end, there is a, with the touch of the consciousness, with the touch of the consciousness. And also by the same, that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is glancing on that because of the transformations taking place. So likewise, he is concluding, and also later on, he started speaking about the even the demigods they have got generated from the mode of goodness, but now they are not able to function. Now just only ingredients are there, but once again, so far lots of glance is there. Now everything is ready. Now they're also waiting for it further to function it. They will start praying to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now what Maitreya is saying, that they are unable to carry out their actions without the help of the Lord. Okay, we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 5, and verse number 37 and 38. Just- mm. Just looking there. भूतानं नभ आधीनां यज्जद् यज्जद्भव्य आवरवरं तेषं परानुसंसर्गात् यथा संख्यं गुणान् विदुः Bhutanam Nabha Adinam. And all these Bhutanam, they are of all the physical elements. Bhutanam Nabha Adinam, starting from the sky, beginning from the sky. Nabha Adinam. Yajjad Bhavya Avaravaram. Yajjad, as and as. Bhavya, O gentle one. Avaravaram, an inferior and superior ones. Yajjad Bhavya Avaravaram. Tesham Paranu Samsargat. Tesham Paranu Samsargat. All of them, Tesham, whatever has been generated, either inferior or superior. Paranu Samsargat. This is Para, the supreme. Anusamsargat, the last touch. That is the main thing. So Tesham Para Anusamsmargat. Yata Sankyam Gunan Viduhu. Yata Sankyam Gunan Viduhu. As many Sankyam number Gunan Viduhu, qualities Viduhu, you may understand. So whatever is happening, whatever has created so far, everything by the Anusamsarga, by the last touch of the Para, the Supreme, by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so Bhutanam Nabhadinam Yajjadbhavya Avaravaram Tesham Para Anusamsargad Yatha Sankyam Gunan Viduhu. Translation for this verse. O gentle one, of all the physical elements, beginning from the sky down to the earth, all the inferior and superior qualities are due only to the final touch of the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so that is what Maitreya Muni is speaking. So even if the Lord is, if the living entity is there in our from this material body, then living entity cannot stay, and there may not be. So immediately he will also have to leave. So this is the but Lord, because of the presence of the Lord, all these transformations taking place. So here Maitreya Muni is mentioning. So all these ingredients are there, but for every transformation, there is a touch of the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, there is no purport for this shloka. This is Bhutam Nabha Adhinam Yajjad Bhavya Avaravaram Tesham Para Ansamsarga Yata Sankyam Gunan Viduhu. One has to understand that there is a hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead at every transformation and generation. So moving to the next shloka. So Maitreya Muni is mentioning that all the demigods are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They're all they belong to the external energy of the Lord. That's why whenever there is a devotee, why we should not worship to the demigods? So because they are external energy of the Lord. Even though they are external energy, they are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are engaged in the universal affairs, administering the universal affairs. So, and then even though they got those functions, but they could not do it without the help of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, likewise, they are going to pray. 38 shloka. Ye te devaha kala vishnoho kalamaya amshalinginah nanatva swakriyanishaha prochuhu pranjalayo vibhum. Ye te devaha kala vishnoho. Ye te devaha. All these demigods. Ye te of all these physical elements. Devaha. The controlling demigods. So here in the previous shlokas, he was mentioning about Aham Tattvad Vikurvana Mono Vaikarika Dabodh. From the mode of Vaikarika is the goodness, mode of goodness, where Manaha, that is mind is generated. Vaikarikasha ye deva adda vivenjanam yataha. From the mode of goodness, deva adda bihi, and demigods also got generated. In the 30 shloka, he is described. Now, here mentioning, Yete devaha kala vishnoho. There are kala vishnoho, part and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kala vishnoho. Kalamaya Amshayogena. Kalamaya Amshayogena. Kala is time, Maya, external energy, Amshayogena, part and, Amsha Linginaha. So part and parcel, Linginaha, so embodied. They are appearing with different bodies like that. They're all part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Kalamaya Amsha Linginaha. नानात्वात् स्वक्रियानीशाः नानात्वात् स्वक्रियानीशाः स्वक्रियनीशाः स्वक्रिय anishaha. So here, because of various swakriya personal duties, anishaha not being able to perform, not being anishaha is the not being able to perform their functions. They have got created. All the senses are there. There is a prana shakti, is there a kriya shakti, is there from the mode of passion, because of jnanendriyas and karnendriyas are also there. From the mode of goodness, demigods are there, mind is there. Now the demigods could not function. So now this is anishaha, not able to perform their functions. And they have prochuhu, they started speaking, uttered pranjalayo vibhum, pranjalayo vibhum. So it is like folding their hands and started offering their prayers to the Supreme Lord. Prochuhu pranjalayo vibhu. So here fascinating is the giving um, fascinating vibhum onto the Lord. एते देवाः कला विष्णोः कालमाय अंशलिङ्गिनः नानात्वा स्वक्रियानीशाः प्रोचुः प्राञ्जलयो विभुम्. Translation. The controlling deities of all the above mentioned physical elements are empowered expansions of Lord Vishnu. They are embodied by eternal time under the external energy, and they are his parts and parcels because they were entrusted with different functions of universal duties and were unable to perform them. They offered fascinating prayers to the Lord as follows. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Can I request Saranya Mataji to read the purport, please?
Hare Krishna. The the conception of various controlling demigods who inhabit the higher planetary system for the management of universal affairs is not imaginary, as proposed by persons with a poor fund of knowledge. The demigods are expanded parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and they are embodied by time, external energy, and partial consciousness of the Supreme. Human beings, animals, birds, etc., are also parts and parcel of the Lord and have different material bodies, but they are not the controlling deities of material affairs. They are rather controlled by such demigods. Such control is not superfluous, it is necessary as the controlling department in the affairs of a modern state. The demigod should not despised by the control living beings. They are all great devotees of the Lord, entrusted to execute certain functions of universal affairs. One may be angry one may be angry with Yamaraja for his thankless task of punishing sinful souls, but Yamaraja is one of the authorized devotees of the Lord, and so are all other demigods. A devotee of the Lord is never controlled by such deputed demigods who function as assistants of the Lord, but he shows them all respects on account of the responsible positions to which they have been appointed by the Lord. At the same time, a devotee of the Lord does not foolishly mistake them to be the Supreme Lord. Only foolish persons accept the demigods as being on the same level as Vishnu. Actually, they are all appointed as servants of Vishnu. Anyone who places the Lord and the demigods on the same level is called Pashandi or atheist. The demigods are worshipped by persons who are more or less adherents of the process of jnana, yoga, and karma. That is, the impersonalist meditators and fruitive workers. The devotees, however, worship only the Supreme Lord Vishnu. This worship is not for any material benefit, as desired by all the materialists, even up to the salvationist mystics and fruitive workers. Devotees worship the Supreme Lord to attain unallowed devotion to the Lord. The Lord, however, is not worshipped by others who have no program for attaining love of God, which is the essential aim of human life. Persons averse to a loving relationship with God are more or less condemned by their own actions. The Lord is equal to every living entity, just like the Ganges. The Ganges water is meant for purification of everyone. Yet the trees on the bank of the Ganges have different values. A mango tree on the bank of Ganges drinks the water, and the nimba tree also drinks the same water. But the fruits of both trees are different. One is celestially sweet, and the other is hellishly bitter. The contempt bitterness of nimba is due to its past work, just as sweetness of the mango is also due to its own karma. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 16.9, Tan aham tan aham dvish tan aham divshada krura sam samsari samsareshu naradhaman kshebami ajasram ashubhan asirishva eva yonishu. The envious and the mischievous, the lowest of mankind, days do I ever put back into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. Demigods like Yamaraja and other controllers the unwanted condition therefore the unwanted conditioned souls who always engage in threatening the tranquility of the kingdom of Lord. Since all the demigods are confidential devotees servitor of the Lord, they are never to be condemned. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. So here Prabhupada is describing about the functions of different demigods. This is also mentioned. Narayana Paradeva Deva Narayana Gajaha. Narayana Paraloka Narayana Paramakaha. So all these demigods, they're all part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And here, the conception of various controlling demigods who inhabit the higher planet system for the management of the universal affairs is not imaginary as proposed by persons with poor fund of knowledge. We have got government system here. So government system, there are citizens of the country, but at the same time, they're engaged in the different functions. Some people are working as a ministers. On top of them, the prime minister is there, but there is a president as well, and there is the entire constitution. So it is not imaginary. So someone think that there is nothing. Government means there is nothing, but actually there is persons. There is complete mechanical system. So the demigods are expanded part and parcel of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and they are embodied by time, external energy, and partial consciousness of the Supreme. So these are the different demigods. They're also like ourselves, but our body is full of earth, water, fire, and then wind and the space. So this is the five ingredients that are fully in a different proportions. So, but the demigods' bodies are also made up of those elements, but in a different proportions. So here again, they may be having just the thin and space, air and space in higher ingredients, but other ingredients like the water and the earth and the fire, it may be less in their bodies, but they're also like ourselves. Human beings, animals, birds, etc., are also part and parcels of the Lord and have different material bodies, but they are not controlling deities of the material affairs. Again, this to occupy those positions, one has to perform so many austerities and penance as well. So, for example, in order to become a Indra, one of the positions, so he needs to perform 100 Ashwamedha yajnas. And if you wanted to occupy the position of Lord Brahma, you have to go through 100 lifetimes. You have to carry out your dharma, swadharma properly for hundreds of lifetimes. Then you can occupy the position of Lord Brahma. For Indra, to become Indra, you need to perform 100 Ashwamedha yajnas. So likewise, so for each and every function, the demigod, they have got some kind of, one has to perform some kind of austerities and penances. That one we can go through the Vedas. So here, the demigods are rather controlled by the living entities. They are rather controlled by such demigods. So here we have got, they are also citizens, we are also citizens. Ordinary labor people and Sudras, they are administered by the little bit of higher level people who have occupied the higher positions. So such control is not superfluous, so that is natural. It is as necessary as the controlling departments in the affairs of a modern state. The demigods should not be despised by the controlling living beings. So here, like we respect the government officials when they are carrying out their activities, likewise, we also respect that those demigods. But we do not point out, of course, it is the single living entity. But what to speak of the demigods. So they are all great devotees of the Lord, interested to execute certain functions of the universal affairs. One may be angry with Yamaraja for his thankless task of punishing sinful souls, but Yamaraja is one of the authorized devotees of the Lord. So he is one of the Mahajanas. So sometimes it is also the Durga Devi, she is also like keeping or putting all these living entities into this material world, and it is kind of a prison. She is also carrying Maya, is carrying out the thankless task because it is their duty. It is a fun, and likewise, Yamadharmaraja is also on duty. Similarly, Kali Purusha and Dwapara Yuga Purusha, Treta Yuga Purusha, and also Satya Yuga Purushas. They are also persons. They are also um, carrying out their duties. Adharma is also one person. Dharma is one person. Adharma is also one person. They're all the children, everyone are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They carry out their duties. In the fourth canto, I think fourth chapter, so it is described about the even Adharma, the lineage of the Adharma family. Adharma is the son of Lord Brahma, and then he has got children again by their mixing, and then they produce children, again their children, which is called Adharma only. So just like a brother and sister coming together, which is not proper. So likewise, they beget children. Likewise, Mrityu and diseases, everything comes, anger, krodha, likewise, Nirya, the hell, the different persons got generated. But here, Yamadharmaraja is one of the Mahajanas, authorized devotees of the Lord. And so are all the other demigods. A devotee of the Lord is never such demigods who function as assistants of the Lord, of the responsible positions to which they have been appointed by the Lord. So this is the what their responsible positions, all the demigods, and at the same time, devotee of the Lord does not foolishly mistake them to be the supreme Lord. Only foolish persons accept the demigods as being on the same level of as Vishnu. Actually, they're all appointed as servants of Vishnu. So that doesn't mean that we disrespect demigods. We respect them, but we also approach and offer obeisances. But based on when you know the relationship between the demigod and supreme personality of Godhead, then you can approach in the right mode to ask the blessings so that I can progress in Krishna consciousness. We can go to the Lord Shiva and asking blessing so that I can progress devotion service to Shri Radha Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. Oh Lord Shiva, you are the Vaishnavanam Yatashim Bhoho. So you are the greatest Vaishnava. Please show me mercy on top of me for my devotional service. Oh Ganesha, so please help me and remove any obstacles in progressing my spiritual path and rendering devotional service to Krishna. Likewise, we can use Supreme Lord, you are beauty. Please help me. Likewise, we need to approach, we need to yes God and offer the obeisances to them. It is not that we approach them and then assume or think that they are independent of the Lord. It is also one of the offense. It is mentioned here in the out of the 10 offenses. So to consider names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu, that is offense. Okay, so we have to first of all establish the relationship between how they are related to Krishna. It doesn't matter. Taking the entire universe, maybe there are so many relationship with the Supreme Lord that we need to know, and then we approach them. Is it required first of all? Okay, so it is festivals. Yes, it is a natural and custom. Then there is no problem, but because you know the relationship, and then offer obeisances. But people, without knowing the relationships between the demigods and who is supreme, if they are approaching such kind of demigods, they are being conditioned. Prakrutya Nita Swaya. Okay, so likewise, they're be conditioned. But devotees, they are not conditioned by the material nature. And also, Yamadharmaraj also cannot see, Lord. The devotee of the Lord is never controlled by deputed demigods. This is okay, mentioning. So in once Yamadharmaraja mentions to his disciples or his associates saying that do not approach the devotees at any point of time. So this one it is described here. Okay. So Yamadharmaraja mentions to his so it is described in the Ajamila pastimes, saying that so generally devotees they never commit any sinful activities, but even if by mistake or by because of bewilderment or illusion, they sometimes commit sinful acts. They are protected from sinful acts because they are always chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this is the devotee's position. Here, when I said, says, he associates. Please do not approach such, for they have fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are equal to everyone, and their narrations are sung by the demigods and inhabitants of the Loka. Please do not go near them. They are always protected by the clue of the Supreme Personality, and therefore, Lord Brahma and I, and even the time fact are not competent to chastise. So this is the Yamadharmaraja statement. And here, mentions persons who have no taste for judgment and who think the honey of the Lord's lotus feet, my dear servants, bring me for punishment only persons who are averse to the taste of that honey. Bring only the persons who are averse to taste that honey, who do not associate with Paramahamsas and who are attached to family life and worldly enjoyment, which form the path to hell. So Yamadharmaraja's clear statements are here. Whom to bring, whom not to bring. whom to approach, whom not to approach. That's why the materialistic people, it doesn't matter he is a king or a queen or with lots of money in all comforts. So they will be approached by the Yamadharmaraja's associates. And whereas the devotees, for them, the Krishna's assistants, they will approach them. So this is Yamadharmaraja personally giving that statement. Okay, so devotees of the Lord is never controlled by such deputed demigods. Prabhupada mentions here. And then further, Prabhupada describes anyone who places the Lord and the demigods on the same level is called a Pashandi or atheist. So this is described in number of places. One should not uh, compare the Lord with the demigods. The demigods are worshipped by persons who are more or less adherents of the process of jnana, yoga, and karma. That is the impersonalists and meditators and fruitive workers. They have not done, but Lord can be etad bhagavato rupam brahmanah paramatmanah daivim karma different phases. Brahmanah param pradhanam purusham, the supreme personality of Godhead. Daivam karma vichestitam. He performs different activities by his features. So, for example, guna brahma. By the whenever they're describing itself, they're mentioning there is no personality, but there is a person as well. Saguna and Nirguna. Nirguna Brahma, Saguna Brahma. But what is taking the highest priority? What is their conflict in their speaking? When there is a person, he can also be present with his name, form, qualities, which are not person, but he is that is also absolute truth. So what is the highest thing that is to be established there? Saguna Brahma is to be established. Nirguna Brahma, it doesn't have a form there. But Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratistaham amritasya aviyasya. Shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukasya aikantikasya cha. I am the basis for that Nirguna Brahma or the Brahma Jyoti. Brahmano hi pratistaham. Then what is the conflict? But people they say that these both are the same. But when the Krishna is personally present, why they have to go for a very difficult path? That is kind of a foolishness. That is Prabhupada number of times he condemns. This is called Avishuddha Buddhayaha. Their intelligence is not yet purified. So the devotees, however, worship only the Supreme Lord Vishnu. The worship is not for any material benefit as desired by all the materialists, even up to the salvationists, mystics, and fruitive workers. So this is the general if any person approaches Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva is called Ashutosa. And then he will be pleased very quickly. At the same time, he gets very angry very quickly. Generally, most of the demonic people, they approach Lord Shiva to ask, if we say, this Asura has approached, this Asura has asked this benediction, and then finally, the trouble come to those people only. That is what happens. But even Vaishnavas are also approach Lord Shiva to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, like Narada Muni, Kumaras, and many other associates, they hear Bhagavatam from Lord Shiva because they do not have any material desires. But other people, asuras, they have got material desires. So devotees worship the Supreme Lord to attain unalloyed devotion to the Lord. The Lord, however, is not worshipped by others. So only the devotees approach. And who have no program for attaining love of Godhead, which is essential aim of human life, those persons ours to loving relationship with the God are more or less condemned by their own actions. Why one has to approach when Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, if you know that, why still you go to different God? It's a question for us. other people different way. Everyone accepts as Krishna supreme personality of Godhead, at least in India. But still, they take to different demigods. So here, the Lord is equal to every living entity, just like the flowing Ganges. Ganges water is meant for the purification of everyone. Yet the trees on the banks of the Ganges have different values. Mango tree on the bank of the Ganges drinks water, and the Nimba tree also drinks the same water, but the fruits of the both trees are different. One is celestially sweet, and the other is hellishly bitter. The condemned bitter trees of the Nimba is due to its own past work, just as sweetness of mango is also due to its own karma. This is by the desires of the living entity. What it means to us is we are all part and parcel of the same supreme personality of Godhead. One living entity, other living entity is different. My desires are different from other living entity. That is where the ego is exhibited in goodness, passion, santa, gora, vimudatvam, goodness, passion, and ignorance. That is ahankara. That is the ahankara is a outer layer. That's why when we are dealing with other people, we need to be very cautious what we are speaking, how we are speaking, like that. It is not the soul is envious, but the person's desires are envious. If we are trying to if one person is trying to fulfill his desires, if we go in middle when he is trying to fulfill, then he becomes enemy. If he is trying to cooperate, then he will become a friend. That is the nature of this material world. Otherwise, souls are all in the same level. But who understands that part? He does not disturb other trying to fulfill their desires. Instead, he just runs somewhere other. So this is Tan Ak Tan Ak Tan Krishna Tan Krishna Mandhan he mentions with Navichalayat who understands the philosophy, he will not discourage them whatever they can. If they wanted to give some money or to do some service to Krishna, let them do it. But do not disturb them from their position. But devotees go for the step and then try to ask them, you chant Hare Krishna, you come here like that. So they are more compassionate than Krishna. So like what I mentioned in other places. Okay, so but all the living entities are by their own karma taking the Ganges water. Give different fruits. Prabhupada mentioning, Tanaham Dvishitaha Kruran Samsareshu Naradhaman. The samsara is called hellish condition because one will be entangled to the family binding. Tanaham Dvishitaha Kruran. Krishna pushes such kind of demonic people into samsara. This is samsara is called a hellish condition because one wanted to do one thing, but he will be conditioned by the family members. He cannot do anything freely. That is called the entanglement. He is captured by all the knots. Samsaresh Naradhaman. Krishna mentioned they are called lowest of the human beings, Naradhaman. Shipamya Jasram Ashubhan Asuri Sveva Yonishu. Shipami Ajasram. They will be pushed into lower species of beings, cats, dogs, and then just go gradually down. That is the path of the demonic people. Shipami Ajasram Ashubhan. There is no auspiciousness for them. Asri Sveva Yodishu. They will take birth in the demonic species of life. Asri Sveva Yonishu. So the envious, the mischievous, the lowest of mankind, these do I ever put back into the ocean of material existence, into various demonic species of life. So demigods like Yamadharmaraja and other controllers are there for the unwanted conditioned souls who always engage in threatening the tranquility of the kingdom of God. These are the controllers. They will punish such kind of demonic people in this material world. And since all the demigods are confidential devotees, servitors of the Lord, they are never to be condemned. So all demigods, they are carrying out their functions. So uh, we do not disrespect them. Instead, we respect them because they are carrying out their functions. Yamadharmaraj is taking the life. We respect his duties. And in one statement where Prabhupada mentions, when the devotees are discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, Yamadharmaraj also come and sit here, and at the time there will not be any death take place. So these Saunakadi sages is describing they are mentioning to Sutta Goswami. Yamadharmaraja will also sit, so death would not take place. Because all devotees, they are all hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, so likewise, Prabhupada is describing about the demigods and their functions. And from tomorrow, so the demigods' prayers are going to be started. Maitri Muni is speaking. These prayers, there are 13 slokas are there, and one can try to focus on these prayers attentively, and they can also pray to the Lord. This prayer so that they will be able to carry out their functions in their respective duties. So here demigods are praying. So that we will start that one from tomorrow. Okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So Maitreya Muni is mentioning to Vidura about the demigods, how they could not function without the help of the Supreme Lord. एते देवाः कला विष्णोः कालमाय अंशलिङ्गिनः नानात्वात् स्वक्रियानेशाः प्रोचुः प्राञ्जलयो विभुम्. That is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. We shall move to Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. So today letter to Tulsi, November 9th and 1970, Bombay. It is a small letter only. Can I request any unallocated devotee to read this letter, please? Saurabh Prabhuji, would you like to read this letter?
Sure, Prabhu. Okay. Hare Krishna. My dear Tulsidas, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated 28th September 1970, and I have noted the contents. I am glad to see that you are taking seriously to spreading this Krishna conscious movement to all your fellow Americans. Try and increase Sankirtana party more and more to new areas and ever larger circulation of our literatures. I'm glad to read in your letter you are going to the universities to preach. The universities are very important places because there there are men who can appreciate our philosophy. So when you speak in the classroom, just quote from any of my books and then try and explain the meaning in your own words, and the students will appreciate it very much. Please see that the schedule of offerings is done regularly without any break. To worship the deity or to worship Panchatattva means that there can be no upsetting of the schedule of offerings. We have seen our LA temple and how nicely the pujaris are doing everything. So, in the same way, try and make our worship equally nice. In that way, you will have the full blessings of Srimati Radharani. I humbly thank all of the boys and girls who are living in the temple for helping me to spread the Krishna conscious movement throughout the world. Hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Any takeaway points, Prabhuji, from this letter?
Sure, Prabhu. Um, Srila Prabhupada, I think, is appreciating that Tulsidas is taking the spreading of the Krishna movement seriously, and also particularly he is saying to increase the Sankirtan party because in the new, especially in the new areas, so that and to spread the circulation of the of his writings, the literatures. Um, Also, he is really appreciating that that the preaching is being spread to the universities, because because there, I think what he is saying is that's an important place, because there are people of intellect who are there in the universities, who will appreciate the philosophy that he is trying to spread. Also, he's saying that when you're speaking in the classroom, to quote from his books, and then to try to explain the meanings, so that it becomes clear to everyone about what those literatures means, and they will appreciate it more if they have a better understanding of those literatures. Also, he's talking about the offerings that happens in the temple, because he's saying that the deities and the Panchatattva needs to be worshipped in a certain way, without upsetting the scheduling of the offerings that he has set. In that way, the pujaris will be doing all the rituals, all the prayers in a certain way, which will be consistent. And he at the end, he thanks all the devotees, all the boys and girls who are living in the temple, and who are helping to spread the Krishna conscious movement. Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for kindly reading. Any other comments, dear devotees, you wanted to add? Jai Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have a question. May I ask, please?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, so Prabhuji just was talking about, the paragraph where it says the deity worship, and you can't break the schedule of offering and things like that. And I just wondered, at home as well, when you are worshipping and you're doing things and offering, but if there is a break, or if you are away or something, what should we do then, please?
Okay, so thank you, Mataji. So I think this was described in the Srila Prabhupada's letters. If the deities are not installed, it was, I think it is 1970, I think some June letter. Dipti Mataji also asked the same question. 13th of, I just shared with Mataji, so trying to remember that. 13th. Revati Nandana. So here, so this is called, when the deity is installed, that is called Niyama Seva. That means the routine Seva prescribed after installation, you cannot stop. This is called Niyama Seva when the deity is installed. So here, regarding questions, you may go to Radhayatra. Yes, you may go to, because your present temple deities are not regularly installed. So you can close the temple for a few days, keeping in front of the deities dried fruits and a tumbler of water. So here, when the prana pratishtha is not done, when it is not regularly installed, then Prabhupada's instruction is that. And when the date is installed and it is called Niyama Seva, that means you cannot stop the service. So for that purpose, Prabhupada is recommending that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very kind to the fallen souls of the Kali Yuga, and he is satisfied with chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And for chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there is no hard and fast rules and regulation. If you are absent for chanting Hare Krishna mantra somewhere else, that is as good as chanting Hare Krishna mantra in the temple. Your chanting may not be stopped. It does not matter where you chant. So does that answer, Mataji?
Yes. So when we haven't done the pran pratishtha, but the deity is still there in our house, is that Okay, to leave this. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. But as soon as once Prana Pratishtha is done, so services must not be stopped. That is Nima Seva.
And the pran pratishtha is done by a priest, and is that what it's called, pran pratishtha, when the priest comes and does the ritual?
Priest and actually spiritual masters, gurus, they and the priest,
Ah.
yes,
Okay.
they know that process. I don't know that process, how they do it. They invoke the deities. For example, we could see in the videos. One of the famous thing is Ram Lalla. The deity was installed. Pujaris, they were doing day and night, all is chanting the mantra like that, and then putting Sri Chakra in the ground, and then on top of the deity is installed, chanting the mantra like this, invoke the deity. But Lord will personally come and stay there. And then at the time, entirely before the Prana Pratishtha, deity was in one kind of appearance. Later on, entirely changed the live. We could perceive that when everyone's experience is that, for example, Ram Lalla deity. So that is Prana Pratishtha.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Any other comments, dear David?
Hare Krishna, Raj.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Just a comment. I'm not on the purport. I just want to, I know, Krishna is the whole, we have to always serve the Krishna, then, demigod. But, as we are reading, like Prabhupada, one of the letter, on the Ganesh Chaturthi, was saying that you worship the demigod like Ganesh to, get the materialistic and which you can use for the Krishna. So, in the Kali Yuga, everybody, that's why people are going towards this demigod, isn't it, for the materialistic, because that easily they can get it from them. And this was,
Yeah.
the Krishna
They
is
lost the,
yeah.
so there they have lost the link between Lord Ganesha and Krishna. That is the problem.
Yeah, well, because that's the reason because now it's Kali Yuga is materialistic and everybody money, everybody, and that's why they lots of people go towards demigods and not demigods, I can say I don't know, it's called demigod over there, but yeah, in the moment 10 days festival all over the world, so much the Ganesh, so yeah.
Yes.
And because Krishna is very difficult, yeah, it's like the devotee who are don't have any materialistic or anything, so go. But in the Kali Yuga, most of them have that. You know, that's why so much worshipping Ganesha and everything.
Yes, that is true. People they are infected with so many of desires. Devotional service means Savai Nivritti Dharmena Vasudevanukampaya Bhagavad Bhakti Yogena Tiradatte Sainiriha. Clear all kinds of diseases of fulfilling the desires and then go very pure to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purified. If you are pure, if you do not have any desires in this life, and you are engaged in the devotional service to the Lord with love and devotion, and gradually, that is called Jivan Mukta state. But people are going there to different demigods. They are infected because Jayato Vishyan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamo Krodho Abhijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammohaha Sammoha Smriti Vibhramaha Smriti Brahmshat Buddhinasho Buddhinashat Pranasyati. So here, this is the gradual things when we are contemplating on the sense objects in this material world, wherever you go, it is only the sense perception, sense gratificatory things only we could perceive. That's why Krishna says that Vivikta Sevitvam Arthi Jana Samsadi, just do not go into the sanghas or asat sanghas, the materialistic places. So then the senses are not polluted. and then you will have enough time to execute devotional service. Otherwise, you are come to the association of the devotees. There you will progress in the spiritual path. So here, whoever is celebrating those festivals, they are materialistic people. They have got so many desires, engaging senses in sense gratificatory things. They wanted to worship those demigods and enjoy on the sense gratification level. For them, it is Lord is very, very far. But somewhere or other, they're going to the demigods also. That way, at least better than demoniac, being demoniac. They accept the position of those demigods at least. Thank you, Mataji. Okay,
Yeah, because
so,
Krishna is not easy to get materialistic. So,
yeah. So Krishna gives,
but once he gives, you can like once you do it, you can get everything afterwards. Yeah, it's like Dhruva and Prahlad when we heard this story. Like even though they said don't want anything afterwards with the Krishna, but still they want. They're still given by Krishna through a loka and everything.
yes, even yes, devotees they do not ask, even if they ask the Lord first of all purify their desires. So here, Dhruva Maharaj mentions in his prayers, "Oh my dear Lord, I have asked those desires." Um, Vasudevachakam anugraha katarosman. That is, he mentions that a cow giving birth to the baby and it also gives milk and also protect the baby. Likewise, oh my dear Lord, you protect your devotees. Even if they have got material desires, you fulfill their material desires and then protect them falling down from the devotional service. That is the position of the devotees. They approach the Lord and they stay there. They don't go into the sense gratificatory levels. Their desires are also fulfilled. That's why akama sarva kamova moksha kama udharadihi. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Either you have got desires or no desires or desires for liberation. Tivrena bhakti yogena. Engage yourself in the devotional service only. Yajeta purusham param. Likewise, Sukadeva Goswami mentions, he confirms that statement. In all times and circumstances, one has to approach only Krishna only, not any other demigods. Well, demigods are there for materialistic people. They control the materialistic people. They cannot control devotees of the Lord, as we have seen in the previous purport. Yes, thank you, Mataji. This is a devotee of the Lord is never controlled by such demigods who function as assistants of the Lord. Okay, so that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. Okay, so for now we shall conclude and continue with further japa. So, and from the announcements point of view, so today there is no sessions from our Sangha perspective, and tomorrow morning we continue with Shri Brahma Samhita. Tomorrow evening, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and tomorrow evening, once we will try to cover 2 shlokas, but some part of the time we will try to read and discuss pastimes of Srimati Radharani. Okay, so that is tomorrow evening session. Okay, and the devotees, if you have got any updates or you wanted to share anything, kindly share. Otherwise, we shall conclude and continue with further japa. Okay, we shall conclude. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha paritanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Have a Krishna conscious day, everyone. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya